Alright guys, so we are going to be drawing a Celtic knot. So you guys just looked at a bunch of examples on the previous. Now we're going to make one that seems really simple, but it's actually really tricky to draw something like this, where it makes it look like certain things are going over the top and hooking together and kind of tying all together in this big knot. So we want to start with our paper horizontally like this, going side to side, and then I'm going to start right at the top of the middle of my paper. The most important thing you need to know before you start drawing this is you have to have a good pencil and eraser, because we are going to be going back in and erasing some things to make them look overlapping. So you also don't want to press too hard with your pencil in case that makes it too difficult to erase later. So what we're going to be drawing first is going to be kind of a big leaf shape, or like a football shape. So I'm going to start up at the top here, right in the middle. I'm going to draw a curved line down like this, so kind of like I'm making a sideways frown or a smile, depending on which way you turn it. And then I'm going to do that again on the other side, making sure both sides come to a point. I don't want it round on the end like an oval. It needs to have a point. I will pause quite a few times today, guys, to just make sure you have plenty of time to catch up, but feel free to pause the video at any point if you need to give yourself more time. And if you're in live class with me right now while we're doing this and it's just going way too fast, you can always just open up this video on your own. All right, so next I'm going to draw a second one of these shapes, but they're going to kind of hook together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pretend like it's coming right off this line here, and I'm going to continue this line this way. And then I'm going to come up here, I'm going to come inside right about here, so the bottom little part, I'm going to make a curved shape inside and then attach those together. And I should have another one of these leaf or kind of football shapes right here now. Then I'm going to do one more, and this is going to be the front of it. So this is going to be the point, and we're going to make the other side of it over here. So it's going to curve here, and then we're going to start at this line and curve here. So I'm going to start right there. I'm going to curve it down here. I'm going to curve it out, and they didn't quite touch, so I'm going to make sure they line up and meet. Now, before we do the next part, this is a good time if you have any kind of bumpy lines or they don't look smooth, where you can kind of go and fix those. So like right there for me, I want that to be a little more of a smooth curve. So I'm going to kind of even that out and smooth that, and I'm going to do the same thing right here as well. Mine got a little bumpy right there, so I'm just going to kind of smooth that out while we have a second. So once you have this shape here, so you have these three leaf shapes that all kind of meet in the middle to make this little triangle in the middle. What we're going to do next is we're going to draw the inside of this. So we're going to make that same shape, but we're going to draw it inside. The tricky part is we kind of have to ignore where they're overlapping or going on top of each other. So I'm going to come up here and I'm going to do the same shape. Want to make sure this stays pretty nice and thick. We don't want this section right here to get too skinny. I'm going to do the same shape right here in the middle. So I kind of made a smaller version of this there, and I'm going to repeat that over here as well. I'm going to curve it out, and I'm going to stop when it touches the side of that shape. And I'm going to kind of do that, and then it's going to line right up there. So those lined up together, again, I do that until it connected to that shape. And just like the last one here, this is going to be the point that's the inside of this shape. So it's going to kind of be like it comes off there, comes off there, and connects together. So now I have this, but what's happening right here is that they both look like, instead of one looking like it's on top of the other, it kind of looks like they're more next to each other, or they're see-through, so we can't quite see. So now we have to go back in and erase some of these lines where they're overlapping. So in the first one, I want this part right here to look like it is on top of that part right there. Right here, I want this line to be solid, and this line I'm going to erase away. So I'm just going to erase anything that goes inside of that line. And if I accidentally erase something I didn't mean to, I just draw it back in really quick. But see how that now is clear? It's all open. Has nothing that goes through it. So it looks like this piece is on top of this piece. I'm going to do that again over here, but this time this piece is going to go under this piece. So this piece will be on front this time, and this piece will be on top. So I want to make sure I clear out anything that is inside of that piece. And if I accidentally erase something I didn't mean to, I can kind of go back in, draw back over that and darken it up. And now I have one last section here where I don't want them completely overlapping, and I want this piece to be on top. So I'm going to go through and erase the two little parts right there where they're stuck together, draw back over any line, and now I have it where these look like this is going over here, under this one, coming around, going over this one, under that one, and kind of keeps looping around in this knotted shape. Now to really make this stand out, we are going to add some color and shading. So you need to get a light and a dark of the same color. So like a light purple and a dark purple, a light green and a dark green, a light orange and a dark orange, pink and red, anything like that. So I'm going to do green because St. Patrick's Day, and that's what it makes me think of. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to color in this whole thing with the light color. So I want the whole thing kind of colored in with the lighter color. This almost looks like a yellow, but it's a yellowy green. It's a really light color green. So I'm going to color this whole thing in with the light color first. All right, and then once I've colored it in all in with the light, I'm going to go in with the dark, and I'm going to make some shadows, because the one that's under is always going to have some shadows right around the one that's going on top. So like if this crayon was going on top of this, the dark crayon is casting shadows right here and right here where it's overlapping. So anywhere that this one right here is going on top of this one, so right along the sides here, I'm going to go in with my darker color, and I'm going to kind of shade a dark green right there like it's casting a shadow. So I'll zoom in as close as I can, and I'm going to do that on both sides of this. So it's kind of zooming in. So this is just me lightly going in, shading just a little bit of dark so that this really looks like it's on top of that piece down there because there's a shadow. So I would do the same thing here. And on this side. And then I do it one more time here. I'm going to add a little bit of dark to either side to show that shadow where it's being cast. And that's going to really give us this really cool three-dimensional illusion, like this is this real thing where it's all knotted and tied up together. All right, guys, I know that's really different from a lot of what we draw in here, but it's a really cool technique, and it's going to help you really learn how to create some really interesting designs and really good at teaching you overlapping. So you guys have fun.